Three, two, one. Yeah, it works. Hello everybody who's watching us. Today I'm here with Pedro and we are about to talk something related to the Olympics, even though it's not happening anymore. And now I'm going to say a few things about me. I'm Victor. I'm from Minas too. I was living until I don't remember 2022, I think. The pandemic just makes me crazy. I was living in there for since I was a kid, but my city is in Belo Horizonte. I was born in Riachinho. It's the countryside of Minas, and it's really small, like the Inho says. But now I'm here in Goiânia, Goiás. I just moved in 2022 because I was about to study and to work, and now I am an internationalist. I can say it because I just finished graduation, and I don't work properly in the area of, international things, but I work with community and partnerships in a software company, and that's it about me. So let's finally start with the questions. How accurate do you think the gold medal ranking is in a measure of a country's global power and influence? And if you need help to see, let me just search about it. But what do you think, Pedro? Because the USA is in the first place, and then comes China. I don't know the third, but I'm gonna search about it. What do you think about it? What is your opinion, Pedro?
So I remember when this comes to us like this about these things because uh, some countries use the ways to considerate like the ranking of the medals. But I don't know if the what the system we use in Brazil to show us. But I remember I think it's very because I think it's like some levels of message the like weight. I don't know if weight is the best word to translate that, but for each medals like gold it has the top one, silver, and the bronze. I don't know how to bronze. I don't remember now.
I think so.
So but I think like USA did that because he is in disadvantage, so he used another system to let to go to the top. I think it's like he's. I don't know if what is the correct because in Brazil we use like some type and the oh yes, thanks.
Here's the rank.
Nice. So but I don't know what country is correct by these things because I think I believe like the Olympic Games has a official system to consider that, and that is the correct like the Olympic ways.
Yeah, that's the Olympic way. But there is a time in which the USA was in the second place and China was in the first during the Olympics. And they changed it because this is the official way of the Olympics. First, the one who gets more golden medals, and then the ones who follow this position. But then they changed in terms of the total of medals because they wanted to be the first. But I mean, talking about other things, do you think the USA is in the first place of the ranking because they are powerful? Oh, there are no relation between power and investment in sports, for an example. What do you think?
So I consider it like the power, like in the types like money, like the enterprise who influence a lot of because nowadays USA is lost a little of the power because it have sometimes ago like USA is the top ones, the American dream and things like that. But nowadays we know like we have a lot another countries that he had that becomes a big famous and influence countries like China, for example, like for technology, for some things like that. Um, but I think like because the investment and the things like that could influence like to change that thing. I believe
Yeah,
that could happen because when we talk about the esports, it's a thing like I think I thought I can't remember how it's thinking in the past. Sorry, but I remember some way I try like to say like it has some histories about it, like soccer, for example. Like if we think about like it can be a mafia like which team wins, which team lost, and things like that. I think powers can influence like a lot of things in this way.
yeah, me too. Even, I don't know, the way they support the people that are, being an athlete, for an example, they have money, they have uh, a good quality of life, and maybe that can reflect. They have training as well, they have structure to have those, I don't know, good teachers, a good people, a great place to work. They can pay well the people they are training. So maybe that is the reason why people are in the first place because they have money to invest. They have money, structure, and yes, I don't know if we would reach the number one or even the top three one day, talking about Brazil, because I mean, it's not easy to be an athlete nowadays in here. Um, there are no investment. And if you look at the sports that are not visible, for an example, that can be really, really bad, because some of them like volleyball or soccer, or even the gymnastics, not all the time, of course, but now it got a lot of visibility on the internet, for an example, and the brands are crazy about the athletes because of the internet. But there are some sports that people don't know and people do not think it's useful. So it's a lot of, it's really hard for them to manage to be a professional, to work just with it. And in countries with more money, you could like, you could be your entire life just working with it. You couldn't, do two things at the same time, like in here we do. And yes, I think it reflects. So we've entered question number one and two, actually. Let's go to question number three. So, in your opinion, how does the Olympics ranking affect a country's image on the international stage? Do you think it could impact, like, if we as people look at the ranking, maybe the USA is in the first place, so we can say like, oh, I wish I could live there, or maybe when it comes to everything like, oh, it's a company based in the USA and they have a lot of power because they are top one in the Olympics. Do you think it can affect the image of the country in some ways?
Yeah, I think so. I think can influence because like we said before, like the USA, we know like the history, like the high school, for example. We have some programs with people who is good in esports and things like that. I think it can affect, but for my opinion, like it's not don't matter because I know some things in the USA. I'm not like a kind of people like I love Disney and I my dream is go to to Disney. Like for example, I know have so much people like he had this dream, but for me, it's be nice like I go to USA, but it's not my first my first option. Like if I choose to travel abroad, but I think it can affect like um Yes, I think it affects, but I can think about like a more powerful structure like to talk about that. But of course, I think it can influence.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And like seeing China in the second place makes totally sense because growing so fast and they're reaching things and they're investing in technology and companies in new ways of life and a lot of innovation as well. So I can relate to it and it makes sense to be in the second or maybe in the first place. And of course it affects because there's a thing called soft power, which is the power that a country have besides the military and the resources, the power of influence, the power of image. Like we have Hollywood, we have Disney as well. I'm not a big fan of going to the Disney park or anything like that. I mean, it doesn't make sense for me. But at the same time, the things that I watch, the actors that I'm watching, the people, the music that I listen to, it's, based in the USA. Even the Latin music nowadays, they're doing it in Miami. I mean, Spanish music. And I mean, what can I say? They're everywhere, and it's crazy to think that a country have so much power. And I know nothing about China in terms of culture. Um, I don't like the things that they do in television. Um, I just can't relate to it because of the culture, maybe. I'm not saying that I don't like the country. It's just a question of I've been influenced my entire life to the American culture, and now the Chinese seems too far from my reality. But even though I do admire the thing that they do with Chinese medicine, for me that's perfect. I mean, the Chinese medicine, the natural one, it's so, I mean, it's amazing. And I've had the opportunity to go to, I mean, places that they do it, and it's amazing. Let's go to question number four. Yes, yes. What other factors besides Olympic medals should be considered when evaluating a country's power in the international system? What do you think besides this? We could say like if a country is powerful, that means the country have what?
So another thing I think is very important, like you said about the don't know very well about the Chinese culture, is like someone's like when I watched the Olympic Games, we saw some countries like is like the same position like Brazil, and we search about that, and it's smile, it's a smile it's a small country and they don't have like a global culture like anyone knows this country, but he has influence like in Olympic terms like in sports and things like that. I think it's very I think it's a thing like we have to consider it about power. It's the power of innovation, like the country has some talents like can create some new technologies and things like that. Is a thing like I studied in a federal university, and I remember when there comes like some news like he tried to privatize our university, and the probably will these companies will come like from another country, like for example UX, and it's a way like to discount not our country less power because like we are producing a new technology, we are producing some articles and things like that, but the reference always go to be to other country. And I think education is the other topic, like he can influence about the power of we talk about the system, the power of the countries. And this two topic, education and innovation, for me is very important, like in the international international valuation of the countries. I know be another ones, but just the one that comes in my mind now.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And I I'm trying to add something to your answer, and it was very complete. But the power in the internet as well, the media power. Today, if we look at the vehicles that we consume information, even in here in Brazil, we take a lot of inspiration for them. So they are the big ones, and they're not based in here. They're based in big countries, and they know how to manipulate people. They know how to make people believe they are the creator in the world, and they know how to keep this image of being powerful. And the companies in there as well, they have a lot of power. If we look to the multinational ones, a lot of them, it's not based I don't know how to say this, but the company that it's the original one. We do have another companies in another countries, but the original one it's based in the USA, China, some country in like France, Italy, and German as well, Spain, and they're in here in Brazil and almost everywhere. And they control the industry, they control the market, and I think that is really something that we should take a look. Another factor could be the investment in education, like you said. Education, it's, I mean, amazing. The investment in paying really well the people in there so they can have smart people working and people, I mean, giving their lives to companies and to innovation and to work because they are being well paid. They can survive people are the investment in health as well. Even though we do have SUS and we are like I mean, SUS it's amazing. Of course, there are a lot of issues, but it's unique and but another countries have something like that as well. But you know, so let me just show to you the ranking. I didn't know there are some countries that I wasn't expecting in here. Like in Brazil, it's in this place. So Europe, Kenya, which is based
Oh
in
my God,
Africa.
Kenya.
Yeah, four medals. I mean, they have 11 and we have 20, but we just have three medals. I think they should change it, you know. We have
Mhm.
20 medals. Let's see what would we would be in in here we would be in here if
Yes.
we take the count just in terms of medals. But you know, we just have three, and there's this country as well, Uzbekistan. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know,
Uzbekistan, maybe.
yeah, Uzbekistan. I don't know. But the other ones, I think it's completely expected. Japan, Australia, and the Australia ones have changed the ranking as well. Because I mean, this is the official ranking, but the Australian ones said that they are in the first place because it wasn't expected for them to win this amount of medals. I mean, they take a like, oh, 20% was expected, and they've reached more than that. So they are in the first place. That doesn't make sense for me. I don't know how to explain to you, but they did it. And just to change them the ranking and be in the first place. But that's it. So let's question number 5. We've talked about that. How does the government investment in sports influence a country's Olympic performance? Because of the structure, the way that the athletes are being paid. But do you have something to add to this question?
Oh, I remember when I think it went. Raisa Leal got the silver medal. I remember search some rumors about the. Do you know how to say like bolsa de incentivo or something like that? Do you know how to say English? I can't remember now.
No, no, I don't know.
I think of some word to express that, but you got the
Yeah,
intention. But there's some rumors and like the value is like so the value is so low, and we think about that like how some athlete could live with just this money, like he expect living in these conditions. And it's very important because nowadays we have in the terms like Raisa Leal, he got somewhat sponsors, he got some brands that supports her. But when we talk about uncle sports that not have so much audience and some things like that, né? It's very difficult. Like we got some sponsor and things like that, and the government, I think the the government has to be some support in this way because like we show we saw in ranking the name Brazil, but we know has some people that got this medal, and we had to got the history about each people. Even the people that don't want a medal, we have to get know these histories because it's our history. I think the government have to be investing more in this esports, but we know in Brazil some things don't happening. I don't know why. I don't know if just about power and the investment, just the things like the government wants. But like esports, it's for me, for example, my entire life I use it to practice some esports. Some some sports I don't go with so much, like just doing some parody. But I think sports can influence and change lives, and I think government have to change that, like really invest in the athletics.
okay, that was perfect, Pedro. Thank you for your answer. And now, question number 6 asks, do you think the Olympic success should be a priority for countries seeking to improve their international reputation? I mean, if we as Brazilians, let's suppose we want to improve our image for the international community, for another countries to invest more in Brazil, to immigrants to go to live in here with us. Do you think just the Olympic ranking could influence?
In terms of immigration, I really don't think that it could influence. Like when we saw like the people who immigration for our country is about because like Venezuela and the other countries that changed for Brazil. I think because they don't have like other options. Like Brazil, it's a friendly country. He accepts like another people and the other cultures, and the people choose because that. I don't think the Olympics could influence it by these terms, but I think like some president or something about pollution, it could be used like these terms, like for example, our president could use in the discourse like in my period of my when I was president, our country got like 20 medals or something like that. Could be a support in this way. But when we saw about immigrations, I can have another aspects can be included. Would be choosy for people like to immigrate for here. Yes, it's my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it isn't enough to make people come to our country. We do have the another ones, but they are actually refugees. Some of them are refugees. They're not just immigrants, and they don't have another place to go. Maybe it is easier to go to Brazil and to live in here because of the language, or maybe the location because it's near to the country, or maybe our policies to receive those people. So yeah, that is a great thing to defend. But I don't think it could change a lot of things, honestly. Maybe some investment in sports, like a international company wants to invest in a sport, or maybe building something, or maybe, I don't know, in a place. Maybe that could influence because they see, oh, there's a lot of potential in Brazil, so I can take advantage from it. But I don't think it would change a lot of things. But it could, but it don't change, I think. It doesn't change. So question number 7, it's a really polemic one. Is it fair for countries to tax the prize money or bonuses athletes receive from winning medals? Why or why not? There are some news about Brazilian athletes winning, besides the medal, money because they deserved it. They won. But I mean, some countries they get part of this money. I don't think it's fair, honestly, because they were working. I know the country have has invested in those people, but I don't think it's fair, to take that. What do you think, Pedro?
So about that, when we think like a macro vision, it's like our law, our politics is about to buy things and win some things. Like if you have an employee, even you has your company or you work for another one by CLT, you have some tax you have to pay. But I think like the most fair possible, I think, is like uh um I really don't know because I think like we have our politicians, but about these things that, but I think that come to media and they like we have to got some position like to position like because if the country don't the president and the government don't say anything, it's just like hey y'all just sing for this topic. But I think it's when we talk in the macro, but like for a athletic person got the message, it's so much work to do. Even is represent our country, uh, it's very hard to be athletic because you have to be so periodic in your routine. You have to be trained constantly. But I real don't know if it's fair or not fair because we have your law when you talk in the macro, and like because when you talk like for example, a company saw this this type of things like he's uh the government will not tax athletic, but he has like he got some arguments to do the same like some things like that like we could too something like that. But I really don't have a firm position in the this question.
Yeah, yeah. And if we take as an example a company, let's suppose you are BDR, a business development representative, people that sells things.
Uh-huh.
The company pay their salary, the things that they receive. The company invest in them because they need to sell to the company. And in some companies, they pay a amount of money based in the sales, the amount of sales. If you sell like, I don't know, 20 products in the month, then you will receive a commission. Actually, the name is commission. They don't take it for them. I mean, the people sell, but it's not just theirs. It's from the company. and they receive because they've solved something. They exceeded the expectations. And if you reach the goals of the company and if you exceed this, they would pay more for you. So I think we should pay more to the athletes that have win the medal because they exceeded our expectations. They received the award, but they should receive more just to keep them, really, I don't know, to prove that we value them. I mean, that's my opinion. We shouldn't tax them, but at the same time, I understand. I mean, I don't understand actually, and I don't know, but in my opinion, I think we shouldn't tax, considering our situation. Because if it were in a different country, like I don't know what people receive in Australia, or maybe in Japan, or maybe in the USA or China. I don't know what they receive. And if they live really well, if they live like, oh, okay, it's enough for them to live, maybe they should take something. But I don't know. And here we shouldn't, but in the other countries, I don't give a shit about them.
Yes, but
Um,
I like your parallel about the commission thing. I think it makes sense. Like,
yeah, yeah, I think it makes sense as well. Thank you. So, question number 8 asks, do you think taxing metals affects the motivation of athletes?
yes, because I think like I don't know if each athletes know about this tax. Because imagine, I have an example for me, like when I worked in the I can't remember now. But when I worked, my salary is like 3 million. But when I receive it 2050, if 2050 hundred. And I saw and they go to human resource and talk, oh, I think he has some problem. And they put, no, because the tags about that,
Yeah,
and I don't have any benefit. To be clear, it's like this the tax to the government. And I think like when you are athletic and you got a medal and you know the value of your price, when you got like your receipt and the less some money, you think, oh my gosh, something got wrong. And I think like that can affect like the motivation because we expect something and you don't receive. In this field, in this vision, I think it can be affected. And other point of view is like when the person like put so much effort in the something and like he got like some position like we don't receive a medal like we are in the fourth place for example, and it could be like very motivation because the people sometimes could comment off the money and like it will help me with my trends and the other aspect in the life, and when you don't got could be a very frustrating.
yeah, I agree with you as well because I mean, that's really bad. They're taking your money, but we understand. But it's not the salary, like you said in your experience. People have taken from you a lot of money when you were working, but it was your salary. And Olympics isn't the salary, it's a award. But I don't know, honestly. But I think affects the motivation of athletes in general. Um, let's go to question number 9, and then we go to question 11, because I think the 10, we've talked about it. Do you think
All right.
government programs like Bolsa Atleta are sufficient to support Brazilian athletes? What could be improved? You said at the beginning of the immersion something really interesting about the education and when people are kids, like since they are a child, they are exposed to the universe of sports Do you think if in here we have programs at the schools, for an example, for kids and for teenagers, and to pay for them to do things, do you think it could be different?
So maybe can have in Brazil, but I don't know. Like in my social environment, I don't remember. But I like to talk about my country. It's a little city nearby from Belo Horizonte, and then we have like some programs like in other cities that I live. I never see like we have some sports like free, like for example swimming. We have a official Olympic swim pool to swim, and it's free for teachers, and you can swim for free, and it's clean because I saw like some public pools that it so much gross, but that it was so clean. But yes, I think that very support. When I was younger, like teenager when I was 16, I think I do some classes of Muay Thai and Kung Fu, and the two sons of the instructions are athletics like in impact of the South America. He got some medals of Pan American and some things like that. They are very famous in this type of things. And I don't know how he grow the money because I know like when we got some campeonato championship.
I think it is the champion.
Yes,
No,
let's
champion is
consider.
the winner, I guess.
Yeah, champion I think is the winner. I think championship is correct. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah, let me search.
certainly about that.
Um, it is championship. Yeah, you were right.
Championship. Yes. So when we got some championship, we had to like to sell things, like to do some, I don't know how to say English, rifas and things like that to to grow the money because we don't have like some sponsors and then things to support to go to these championships because they are expensive, like the trips and the subscription and things like that. So I think like the Bolsa Atleta nowadays, when I saw, I don't know if it just that the value and the price they receive monthly, but it's too slow when you think about for example, skateboarding, like the sport that I got more knowledge in, like some just the piece of the shape and the things like that. It's like 100, like the price of the bolsa, and it's very hard because like if you broke some shape and things like that, like it will affect a lot of things. So I think we have to another types of supports, if we have some official sponsors, like for example, like big companies like Nike, Adidas, and things like that, and to support some principal some groups and some people don't have so much success now, but support to to have more Raíssa Leals and Bianca Andrade and esqueci o nome daquela outra Saraiva lá, Flávia Saraiva, né?
Yeah.
Não lembro. And
Yeah.
the other ones because we saw like that heroes, and we have to grow like this type of heroes in the Brazil, and we have to support more, like just not with money but like with genes and some support because we have some specific sport that necessitates like some structure, like for example skateboard, like I talked before. In my city that I lived in the interior of São Paulo, we don't have some skate park. And for us, like we lost so much talent because we don't have some part to practice our sport. And I remember I saw some people like that good, very good, like in the if they train it like correctly, they could be some professional skateboarder. But he don't get that because we don't have support and the extruder and things like that. And I think to support some athletes, we have to get invest like the all the things like support about family, about the money, and principal education because had some type of athletes they give up the education like the high school because he had to focus in something.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't think both athletes is enough as well. And besides the money, they should receive support and then they should
Scholarship
receive,
principal.
yeah, yeah, and education and then I don't know, support to their families as well. They should receive a lot of money. Actually, I think money could solve a lot of problems because money is the solution, unfortunately. But money, so I don't know. I love money. I wish I could have more, and
Mm,
they deserve it as well.
I agree.
And we do have some sports that people receive a lot of money, and like soccer. I mean, I know there are a lot of investment. I know it's not their fault they received this, but I mean, they should do something, it isn't right. Uh, there's a lot of things involved, and I mean, for me, it doesn't make sense. And it's not because I don't like soccer. I've tried to play soccer. I've tried my best, but I couldn't. And I just don't like the industry of soccer. And I don't think it's a sport anymore. It is an industry because there's so much money, so much investment, so many people living and doing things and receiving so many things like millionaires. And I mean, that's for me, you know, they should be well paid, but not all of this. That's too much for a person, you know, but it's okay. That's a thing that I will always keep in mind. But you answer very well the question, so I'm not saying anything more. Just my issue with soccer. Let's go to question 11 and question number 12 as well. Can you read the two questions, Pedro? Because I've been reading all of the questions. Now you
Yes.
can read. Okay, thank you.
And the question 11 or 12, just for be clear.
12
Or the two.
and no, the two of them, 11 and 12.
All right. Do you think it is ethical to take back the medal from Athletic after they have already celebrated their victory? Why or why not? How do you think Jade Caroli felt after having to return her bronze medal due to the podium adjustment? I didn't see that scene to Jade Carroll. I don't get that.
Okay, I'm just
But
explain to you. It was in the
yes,
gymnastics. Do you know that?
no. Just
Okay,
continue
okay.
explaining
It
because I
was in
don't
the
know.
gymnastics, the solo one, and they have announced Jed or Jade, I don't know, as the third winner, the bronze winner. And she was like, "Oh yeah!" I think she's from Romania, and together with Simone Biles and Rebecca, she was like, "Oh, I'm so happy because the three of them have won." But then, a couple of minutes later, they have announced that Jordan Chiles have won the third place after everyone goes crazy. And Jordan is from the USA. They
Mm,
control everything. But she, after her presentation, they have evaluated Jordan, but then she didn't agree with it. So she sent it a resource. I don't know how to say the word, but some requestment to evaluate again. But they were doing it, but they didn't announce that they were still evaluating her. And they announced the
mhm.
Jade as the winner. And after the evaluation of Jordan, she had won the third place. And then Jade, who was supposed to be the winner, she was just crying, crying, crying because he wasn't her anymore, you know? And let me read question number 12 because I have interrupted you. On the other
No,
hand,
no, I can
okay,
read if you want to.
okay, you can
For
read.
me, it's
Okay.
right. Uh, just share my opinion about this question. I think it's a mistake of the judgment because it could be very hurtful when we talk about that. I didn't see the scene I will share about, but I remember sometimes uh, when the judgments get some notes and have to revise some things. And I think it's a real mistake. Like for example, soccer plays when we style the VAR. It's some way like to support by technology because sometimes we saw like some games that make some mistakes in the games like some penalties and things like that, and they influence a lot of things. But when we talk about the athletics, could be very hurtful. So let's go for 12. On the other hand, what could the Olympics Committee to do to ensure that athletes like Jordan Chase are recognized in a timely and fair manner? What means manner?
In a fair manner. I mean, in a good way to
Ah, right.
manageable. I mean, I don't know how to
All
say.
right. So
I mean,
I
do you
don't
think
know.
they should give a medal for the both of them or take? What do you think?
It's difficult because I don't know. I didn't see the scene. But if he likes, it's me. I saw like the reaction of the person. For be honest, I will give the medal for there. For of course, because I have it's not about the sports, but it's an interest history about a friend of mine. He passed in USP in a course that he don't really want to take that course, and he posted in the Instagram like, "Oh, I passed in the USP," and he is more oh, how can I say, like a comedian. He's a comedian. He's a clown. He worked with some aspect of arts, and he posted a test like I passed in the USP. It's my dream, and but I think I will this university and things like that. And the person that is one position less than, like he just if some people desist, he could came to the university. He found the the post, and she talked to him like, oh my gosh, if you really don't want the course, please this is because it's my dream to come to USP. It's my twice time like I tried, and he said that, and he just give up and say like this for you. And for he it was very good because he life turns around another way because he do Wolf Maya and some other course that he could influence more than more he. And it's I think like if he it's my when I saw this scene like other people like it's about justice because I won, not she. But for me, I will don't receive the medal.
Yeah, but I mean, um, you know, after the Olympics, after the photo of the both of them, Simone Biles and Jordan, have done the things to Rebecca, like because Rebecca was the winner. They were planning to ask Jordan to return the medal. You know, after everything ended, they were like, "Oh, can you return your medal, please? We want to give her to Jad because we've changed our mind." And that is so crazy. But I think in at the end, I just sent to you the link for you to read more. At the end, they didn't do it. You know, they have accepted that they just let the things happen, but it's really complicated to think about it because, they are professionals and the worst thing happened to them. And that's really sad. But Pedro, we have to end this immersion, this conversation, unfortunately, because we just have 1 minute. But I would like to say thank you for you to come in here for the first time. It was a pleasure to talk to you and to hear your opinions. And you did really well answering the questions. Thank you for your time and for you know, the engagement during the meeting. And how was it for you? You just have some seconds to answer.
All right, I will take that quickly. But
Okay.
sorry because I got the immersion like a little late because I know I scheduled this immersion, but it has other things that happening today, and my camera and my mic doesn't want to work in the first. But I like too much because I saw the first questions, but my I got some problem with the my plan. The talk feel resolve that, and I couldn't see the questions. And I just know about it's about Olympics, but I don't really remember like the type of the questions.
Okay.
It's like more about pollutions and the other things about the
Yeah, yeah.
Olympics games. But I really like it's nice like to have a small conversation, a small group with conversation because we can enjoy more.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
thank you for
Yeah.
immersion.
Thank you, Pedro. Bye bye. Have a good night.